Amanda Gordon's last moments. The evidence uncovered. A mysterious disappearance. On December 12, 2019, Cedar Park, Texas, was gripped by an unsettling mystery. Amanda Gordon, a 30-year-old mother of two, had vanished. For 3 days, her phone had gone silent, her routine calls to her mother ceased, and her presence in the life of her family disappeared like a whisper in the wind. Concerned for her daughter's safety, Deb Gordon, Amanda's mother, contacted the police, reporting her missing. Amanda had been living with her common-law husband, Samuel Bird, and their 2 children, a 2-year-old son and an 8-year-old daughter. By all outward appearances, they were an ordinary family. But beneath the surface, tension simmered, unseen to outsiders. When officers arrived at Amanda's residence that evening, they found the house cloaked in darkness. Knocking on the door, they were met not by Amanda but by Samuel, who refused to open the door, choosing instead to speak through a cracked window. His explanation for Amanda's absence was bizarre. She had left him and their children, abandoning her responsibilities entirely. Samuel's anger was evident in his tone, painting Amanda as an unfaithful and reckless mother. But the officers' instincts told a different story. Through the window, they glimpsed chaos, furniture askew, signs of a disorderly environment. Illegal substances were spotted within the home, further raising red flags. Samuel's refusal to allow them to check on the children or Amanda prompted the officer to call for backup. When reinforcements arrived, the situation escalated. Concern for the children's safety and Amanda's whereabouts led officers to forcibly enter the home. Inside, the scene was a troubling mix of disarray and unease. Amanda was nowhere to be found, and Samuel's erratic behavior only added to the growing suspicions. The house yielded no immediate answers, but it did present a puzzle. Amanda's personal belongings, her clothes, toiletries, and everyday items, were conspicuously missing, as though she had indeed left. Yet her car was also gone, and Samuel's explanation remained unconvincing. The couple's neighbor added another layer to the mystery, noting that Samuel had been acting strangely, discarding an unusual amount of trash on the very day Amanda was reported missing. Further complicating the case was the presence of Samuel's brother, Josiah Bird, who had been staying in the home. Josiah's demeanor was uneasy, and his recollection of events raised more questions than answers. He claimed to have no knowledge of Amanda's whereabouts, but admitted that he and Samuel had spent the past few days cleaning the house, a detail that struck investigators as suspicious. The unraveling began in the backyard. Officers discovered an outbuilding that served as Samuel's office. Footprints led to the door, and inside, detectives noted a peculiar smell. Fresh varnish coated the furniture and floors, as though someone had attempted to mask something beneath the surface. It was clear that significant effort had gone into cleaning and refurbishing the space, but why? As the investigation deepened, police seized surveillance cameras found in the house. Curiously, these cameras had been removed from their original mounting points and placed on a table. Detectives suspected that they might hold digital evidence, pieces of a narrative that Samuel seemed desperate to suppress. With Amanda's car missing and Samuel's behavior growing more erratic, police broadened their search. They discovered Samuel had a subscription to a local car wash. Surveillance footage from December 11 showed him arriving barefoot, his truck caked in red-tinted mud, a type not found in the Cedar Park area. His disheveled appearance and choice to wash his truck while his wife was allegedly missing only deepened the investigators' suspicions. Amanda's disappearance was no longer just a missing person case. It was becoming a chilling enigma. Every detail pointed to something darker, a hidden truth that would take months to uncover. Behind Samuel's deflections and the veneer of a quiet suburban life lay a storm of deception, one that would soon reveal the tragic reality of Amanda Gordon's fate. Clues in the shadows. By the time December 13, 2019, arrived, Amanda Gordon's case had transformed from a simple welfare check into a full-scale investigation. Suspicion enveloped the house on Park Street, and all eyes turned toward Samuel Bird, Amanda's common-law husband, whose inconsistent statements and unusual behavior had set off alarm bells. The first breakthrough came with a discovery in the car wash surveillance footage. Investigators watched as Samuel's truck rolled into the facility on December 11. It was coated in reddish mud, an oddity in Cedar Park, where the soil bore no such hue. More troubling, Samuel appeared visibly disheveled, pacing barefoot around the car, his actions jittery and unsteady. Why would a man, allegedly abandoned by his wife and left alone with 2 young children, prioritize cleaning his truck? The question gnawed at investigators, who began piecing together a troubling timeline. Samuel's behavior under scrutiny. Back at the house, detectives found more unsettling details. Samuel's claim that Amanda had left voluntarily clashed with the evidence, or lack thereof. Amanda's personal belongings were missing, but her car was gone as well. Samuel's brother, Josiah Bird, had also been staying in the house during the time Amanda disappeared. Josiah admitted to police that he and Samuel had been cleaning furiously for days, a fact that further fueled suspicion. Investigators spoke to a neighbor who recalled a curious incident on December 12. Samuel had hauled out 2 trash cans and 6 large bags for collection, a departure from his usual behavior of rarely putting out garbage. It was a seemingly mundane detail, but one that hinted at a desperate attempt to dispose of evidence. Then there was the matter of the house itself. Surveillance cameras that had once been mounted on walls and doorways were inexplicably removed and stacked on a table. Their absence left blind spots in the security system during the critical days leading up to Amanda's disappearance. Investigators seized the devices, hoping to recover deleted footage that might reveal the truth. Rachel's role in the mystery. As the investigation deepened, police learned of Rachel, a woman Samuel had been romantically involved with. Rachel became a key figure in the case when officers discovered she was in possession of Amanda's car. When detectives confronted her, Rachel seemed stunned by their questions, but admitted that Samuel had asked her to help him with a peculiar task. Rachel revealed that Samuel had given her a bag containing a handgun, a sped shell casing, Amanda's eyeglasses, and her cell phone. He had asked her to take the bag to a remote area owned by his family and leave it there. Unaware of the gravity of the situation, Rachel complied, but now realized she may have been an unwitting accomplice. She led officers to the location, where the items were recovered. Rachel also shared another disturbing detail. Samuel had called her on December 11th, asking her to bring cleaning supplies to his house. Her account aligned with Josiah's admission about the frantic cleaning spree, painting a picture of a man trying to erase the traces of something sinister. The ranch connection. As police dug deeper into Samuel's movements, they uncovered a link to a ranch in Bastrop County, about 40 miles from Cedar Park. The ranch, owned by 2 brothers with whom Samuel had business dealings, became a focal point of the investigation. Surveillance footage showed Samuel's truck traveling to Bastrop County late on December 9 and returning 12 hours later. When investigators visited the ranch, they immediately noticed the red-tinged soil, a match for the mud on Samuel's truck. The brothers confirmed that Samuel often used the property and even had a mobile home there. They also mentioned an unusual request from Samuel on December 9, permission to burn trash. In the ranch's burn pit, detectives uncovered charred fragments of bone and melted jewelry. A pond on the property was drained, revealing more human remains. Dental records and DNA testing confirmed the worst. Amanda Gordon was dead. The evidence left no doubt that she had been killed and her body burned in an attempt to destroy all traces of the crime. A growing case against Samuel. Back at the house, forensic experts retrieved data from the security system Samuel had hastily dismantled. Though much of the footage had been deleted, investigators recovered several key snapshots taken automatically by the system. One image showed Amanda running toward the outbuilding in fear, followed by Samuel in pursuit. Another captured Samuel moving Amanda's lifeless body, her head showing visible trauma. In these haunting frames, the brutal reality of Amanda's final moments came into focus. With every discovery, the walls closed in on Samuel Bird. Evidence of Amanda's blood was found on the floors, walls, and even the deck of the house. Rachel's testimony about the bag, Josiah's account of the cleaning spree, and the chilling details from the surveillance snapshots painted an undeniable portrait of guilt. The truth emerges. By mid-December 2019, the investigation into Amanda Gordon's disappearance had turned into a homicide case. Detectives now faced the grim task of piecing together the final hours of Amanda's life while gathering evidence to bring her killer to justice. With every new clue, a clearer yet more horrifying picture emerged. Surveillance footage unveiled. The recovery of Amanda's home surveillance system data proved pivotal. Though Samuel Bird had attempted to erase all footage, forensic experts managed to retrieve several key recordings and snapshots. The recovered evidence revealed a haunting sequence of events that began on the night of December 8, 2019. Shortly before midnight, Amanda was captured running out of the main house, visibly panicked. She darted toward the outbuilding where Samuel had set up his office. Moments later, Samuel appeared in the frame, chasing her. The grainy footage showed him entering the outbuilding shortly after. In one of the final images, Samuel was seen dragging Amanda's body toward the office door. Her legs dangled lifelessly, and a pool of blood glistened under the harsh security light. The snapshots also revealed Samuel's disheveled appearance, barefoot, dressed only in underwear, and moving erratically. These chilling frames told a story of terror and violence, a stark contrast to Samuel's initial claim that Amanda had simply walked away. Samuel's attempt to cover his tracks. After Amanda's death, Samuel's actions became increasingly desperate. Footage from the following day captured him pacing between the house and the office, carrying cleaning supplies and moving items to his truck. He turned off the porch light after sunset, working under the cover of darkness to avoid detection. On December 9th, Samuel dismantled the surveillance cameras, mistakenly believing he had erased all evidence of the night before. He loaded Amanda's body and other incriminating items into his pickup truck and drove to the ranch in Bastrop County. There, he used the burn pit to dispose of Amanda's remains, along with her belongings. The red mud caked on his truck, the jewelry and bone fragments found at the ranch, and Rachel's testimony about the bag containing Amanda's eyeglasses and phone, all these pieces aligned to reveal Samuel's calculated effort to conceal his crime. Amanda's final hours. As detectives reconstructed the timeline, they began to understand the events leading to Amanda's death. The relationship between Amanda and Samuel had been tumultuous for years, marked by emotional and physical abuse. On the night of December 8th, it appeared a heated argument escalated into violence. Samuel, angered by Amanda's perceived defiance, retrieved a gun. In fear, Amanda fled to the outbuilding, but Samuel followed. Evidence suggested that he struck her with a weapon before fatally shooting her. Rather than seek help, Samuel chose to cover up the crime, placing his need for self-preservation above all else. The evidence piles up. As detectives built their case, Samuel's brother Josiah and his lover Rachel provided additional insights. Josiah admitted to assisting with the cleaning but claimed ignorance of Amanda's fate. Rachel, now cooperating fully with investigators, revealed more details about Samuel's erratic behavior and his attempts to involve her in his cover-up. Forensic analysis of the house uncovered traces of Amanda's blood in multiple locations, including the bedroom, bathroom, and office. The burn pit at the ranch yielded fragments of Amanda's bones, some charred beyond recognition, and melted remnants of her jewelry. The digital evidence from the surveillance system tied everything together, leaving no room for doubt about Samuel's guilt, turning the investigation into a prosecution. The Cedar Park Police Department, now armed with overwhelming evidence, prepared to arrest Samuel Bird. The case was airtight. Amanda's blood, the surveillance snapshots, Rachel's testimony, and the remains found at the ranch painted a clear picture of premeditated murder. The task now was to present this mountain of evidence to ensure justice for Amanda. The investigation had unveiled a grim narrative of domestic violence, betrayal, and an attempt to erase a life. Yet, Amanda's story would not be silenced. Her final moments, preserved in those haunting images, became the key to exposing the truth. But for Amanda's family and her children, the pain of her loss was just beginning to sink in. The trial of Samuel Bird. The trial of Samuel Bird was one of the most haunting cases to grip the public in years. By early 2020, the evidence against Sam, Amanda Gordon's common-law husband, was undeniable. What began as a missing persons case had unraveled into a cold and calculated act of murder, and the trial became a window into the twisted reality behind closed doors. In the courtroom, the prosecution wasted no time setting the stage. They pieced together a meticulous timeline of Amanda's final moments, supported by chilling evidence that showed a man desperately trying to cover up his crime. Forensic experts, witnesses, and damning surveillance footage painted a picture of control, rage, and betrayal. The prosecutors argued that Amanda Gordon's murder was not a crime of passion, but a deliberate act. Sam Bird, they claimed, could not tolerate Amanda's decision to leave him. The pressure of their tumultuous relationship, coupled with Sam's own insecurities and erratic behavior, erupted into violence on the night of December 8, 2019. Amanda was brutally murdered, her body desecrated in a fire pit on a remote ranch, and her belongings scattered in a crude attempt to erase her existence. The evidence unveiled. The courtroom sat in stunned silence as the prosecution laid out their case. They presented surveillance footage. The recovered footage from Sam's own security system showed Amanda fleeing the main house, Sam pursuing her in a state of rage, and Amanda disappearing into the outbuilding where she was later attacked. Forensic findings. Blood evidence found in the outbuilding matched Amanda's DNA, alongside fragments of bone and personal items discovered in a burn pit. The fire's intensity was an attempt to destroy evidence, but failed to erase the truth. Recovered images. Perhaps the most damning were the snapshots taken by Sam's security system, which captured Amanda's lifeless body and Sam standing over her. The prosecution called these the silent witnesses to Amanda's murder. Testimonies that shocked the court. Several key witnesses took the stand, each adding a piece to the puzzle. Rachel, Sam's mistress, Rachel, admitted to helping hide Amanda's belongings, but claimed she had no idea what had happened to Amanda until much later. Her testimony was a mix of regret and fear as she described the erratic and manipulative behavior Sam displayed in the days following Amanda's disappearance. Josiah Bird, Sam's brother, described the frantic cleaning and erratic action Sam undertook immediately after Amanda went missing. While maintaining his innocence, Josiah's account corroborated much of the timeline presented by the prosecution. Forensic experts, specialists provided detailed explanations of the evidence. They described how Amanda's blood was found throughout the outbuilding and the disturbing condition of her remains. Their testimony left no room for doubt. Amanda's mother, Deb Gordon's testimony was the emotional cornerstone of the trial. She spoke of Amanda's life, her love for her children, and the pain of losing her daughter in such a horrific way. Her words resonated deeply with everyone in the courtroom. The defense's last stand. Sam Bird's defense team worked to sow seeds of doubt. They argued that Amanda had a history of leaving during heated arguments and suggested she could have met with foul play after leaving the house. They questioned the credibility of witnesses like Rachel, portraying her as a scorned lover with motives of her own. In a desperate move, Sam himself took the stand. His testimony was combative and evasive, filled with inconsistencies. He blamed everyone but himself, from Amanda's supposed mental health issues to Rachel's involvement. His refusal to take accountability only further solidified the prosecution's case in the eyes of the jury. The verdict. After weeks of grueling testimony, the jury deliberated for less than a day. The evidence was overwhelming. Samuel Bird was found guilty of first-degree murder. As the judge read the verdict, the weight of the decision was palpable. Amanda's family held each other tightly, tears streaming down their faces. For Amanda's mother, the verdict brought a bittersweet sense of justice. "It won't bring Amanda back," she said, "but it means her story wasn't buried with her." Sam Bird was sentenced to 45 years in prison. The sentence was a clear message. No matter how hard someone tries to hide the truth, justice will find its way to the surface. The fight for justice. The trial of Sam Bird began in late 2020, marking the beginning of the judicial reckoning for the horrific murder of Amanda Gordon. The courtroom was charged with emotion as the prosecution presented damning evidence, while the defense sought to cast doubt. At stake was not just justice for Amanda, but closure for her grieving family. The prosecution opened with a powerful statement. "Sam Bird didn't just kill Amanda Gordon. He meticulously planned and executed her disappearance, believing he could erase her from existence. But today, we will ensure Amanda's voice is heard." They presented a compelling case, using forensic evidence, security camera footage, and witness testimonies to paint a vivid picture of Amanda's final moments. Snapshots recovered from Sam's dismantled security system captured Amanda running from the house, and later being carried lifeless by Sam. Bloodstains matching Amanda's DNA were found on floors, walls, and furniture, further corroborating the timeline of violence. Evidence from the burn pit, including human bone fragments and Amanda's jewelry, revealed Sam's gruesome attempts to destroy all traces of the crime. Witness testimonies from Amanda's family and Rachel, Sam's mistress, highlighted his calculated efforts to cover his tracks. In contrast, the defense framed Sam as a man trapped in a volatile relationship. They claimed Amanda's death was not premeditated, but the result of a tragic domestic dispute spiraling out of control. Sam's attorney argued that years of dysfunction had led to an unavoidable confrontation, aiming to shift some blame onto Amanda. Testimonies from Sam's brother, Josiah, described frequent conflicts between the couple, supporting the defense's narrative. The courtroom fell silent as Amanda's mother, Deb Gordon, took the stand. Fighting back tears, she recounted the anguish of filing the missing persons report and the heartbreak of losing her daughter. Her words left an indelible impact, reminding everyone of the human cost of the crime. Rachel's testimony added another layer of complexity. She revealed how she had unknowingly helped Sam conceal evidence, including transporting Amanda's belongings and assisting in the cleanup. Her regret was palpable as she recounted her role in the cover-up. After 3 weeks of testimony, the jury deliberated for 6 hours before delivering their verdict. Sam Bird was found guilty of first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. The courtroom erupted in emotion, relief for Amanda's family and silence from Sam. During sentencing, the judge condemned Sam's actions as deliberate and callous, handing down a 45-year prison sentence without the possibility of parole. For Amanda's family, the verdict brought a measure of closure, but the pain of her loss remained. In her honor, they established a foundation to support victims of domestic violence, ensuring her legacy would serve as a force for change. Through their efforts, Amanda's story continues, not as a tale of tragedy, but as a call for justice and hope. The shadows left behind. The echoes of Amanda Gordon's murder reverberated through every life it touched, leaving scars that time struggled to heal. In the wake of Sam Bird's conviction, the spotlight shifted to those who had been left behind, Amanda's children, her family, and even the unwitting accomplices who had become entangled in the aftermath of the crime. The children's painful reality. Amanda's 2 children, aged 8 and 2 at the time of her death, were the silent witnesses to an unspeakable tragedy. Though they had not directly seen the violence, the walls of their home carried the weight of the trauma. Now living with Amanda's family, the children faced the daunting task of rebuilding their lives. Therapy sessions became a routine part of their journey, a fragile attempt to make sense of the inexplicable. "They're so young," Deb Gordon, Amanda's mother, shared in a rare interview. "Every day is about giving them love and letting them know they are safe." But how do you explain something like this? How do you tell them that their father took their mother from them? A family's unyielding grief. For Amanda's family, her absence was an open wound. Deb Gordon, who had raised Amanda to be strong and independent, now carried the unbearable weight of losing her. In the weeks following Amanda's disappearance, Deb had fought tirelessly to bring her daughter home. The discovery of Amanda's remains brought a bitter mix of relief and devastation. "Knowing the truth doesn't make the pain easier," Deb admitted. "But it gives us a place to start healing." Amanda's siblings also struggled to process their loss. Her younger brother, Jake, described how he found himself caught between anger and sorrow. "I want to forgive, but how do you forgive something like this?" he said. "Sam didn't just take Amanda from us, he took her laughter, her kindness, her dreams." The accomplice's lingering guilt. Rachel, Sam's mistress, became a key figure in unraveling the case. Though initially seen as complicit, her cooperation with law enforcement revealed a woman trapped in her own web of manipulation. Her testimony helped secure Sam's conviction, but her involvement in transporting key evidence haunted her. "I didn't know the full truth," Rachel later confessed. "But looking back, I should have asked more questions. I should have done more to stop it." Josiah Bird, Sam's brother, faced similar struggles. Though cleared of direct involvement, his presence in the house during Amanda's disappearance made him a focus of suspicion. "I wish I had seen the signs," he said. "I wish I could have done something to prevent this." A community forever changed. For the community of Cedar Park, Amanda's murder was a harsh reminder of the darkness that can lurk behind closed doors. Candlelight vigils were held in her memory, and her story sparked renewed conversations about domestic violence and the need for early intervention. Amanda's legacy lives on through a foundation established in her name, dedicated to supporting survivors of abuse and educating communities about the signs of violence. The foundation became a beacon of hope, ensuring Amanda's life would not be defined solely by her tragic end. The shadows of healing. As time moved forward, the shadows left by Amanda's death slowly began to recede. Her children found comfort in their grandmother's arms, her family in the small victories of advocacy. But the memory of her life, and the senseless violence that ended it, remained a powerful reminder of the fragility of love and trust. Amanda Gorden's story is not just a tale of loss. It is a testament to the resilience of those who loved her, the courage of those who fought for her, and the lasting impact of her life. Through the work of her family and community, her voice continues to echo, a call for justice and compassion in a world too often marked by its absence. The Final Reckoning. The case of Amanda Gordon was not just a tragedy, but a mirror reflecting the darker truths of human behavior: love turned toxic, trust shattered, and lives irreparably damaged. As the trial concluded, the community of Cedar Park was left grappling with questions about how such a tragedy could have unfolded right under their noses. Sam Bird, now serving a 45-year sentence, remained the central figure of this harrowing story. In court, his expression was a blend of regret and defiance, a man whose actions had torn apart his own family. His sentencing brought closure for some, but left wounds that time would struggle to heal. For Amanda's mother, Deb Gordon, justice came at a heavy price. Her daughter's life had been extinguished, leaving behind two children who would grow up with fragmented memories of a mother they loved and a father they lost to his own darkness. In an emotional statement at the sentencing, Deb addressed Sam directly, saying, "You took Amanda from us, from her children. But you can't take her memory. That belongs to us forever." The children, now in the care of their grandmother, faced an uphill battle. Therapy sessions became a regular part of their lives as they tried to process the enormity of what had happened. The eldest, who had witnessed the aftermath in ways a child never should, carried a weight that no one could fully lift. "We'll move forward together," Deb promised them, her voice steady with resolve. The trial also brought to light the involvement of others, not as accomplices, but as pieces of the puzzle. Rachel, the woman who unwittingly helped Sam dispose of key evidence, testified with visible remorse. Her role as a witness was pivotal in securing Sam's conviction, but her guilt lingered. "I should have asked more questions," she admitted in court. "I'll live with that forever." The brothers in Bastrop County, whose land became the final resting place for Amanda's remains, were absolved of any wrongdoing. They cooperated fully with investigators and shared their own disbelief at Sam's betrayal of their trust. "We thought we knew him," one of them said, shaking his head. "But you never really know someone, do you?" In Cedar Park, the community struggled to reconcile the crime with the image of the man they thought they knew. Sam Bird, a local businessman, had hidden his darkness behind a facade of normalcy. His fall from grace was a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of unchecked anger and control. Amanda's story became a rallying cry for awareness and prevention of domestic violence. Local organizations held vigils and fundraisers, dedicating resources to educate and support families in crisis. Amanda's name became a symbol of resilience, a reminder that her life was more than her tragic end. For detectives like Ives, the case was one of the most challenging of their careers. "You see a lot in this line of work," he said in a rare interview, "but this one stays with you. It's not just about solving the crime, it's about making sure the victims aren't forgotten." As the dust settled, Amanda's loved ones focused on rebuilding. Her children found solace in small moments: a hug from their grandmother, a shared memory of their mom, a drawing they made in her honor. Deb Gordon channeled her grief into advocacy, speaking at events to raise awareness about the warning signs of abusive relationships. The final chapter of Amanda Gordon's story is still being written, not in courtrooms or headlines, but in the lives of those she left behind. It's a story of heartbreak and healing, of a community's resilience, and of a family's determination to honor the memory of a daughter, sister, and mother whose light was extinguished far too soon. As we close this case, let Amanda's story serve as a beacon, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, the pursuit of truth and justice can bring light. And though we cannot rewrite the past, we can strive to protect others from a similar fate, ensuring that Amanda Gordon's legacy endures.